And finally, I'll give you a third principle of the I Ching. The first was don't shoot fish in a barrel. Go looking for the answer you want. Secondly, the I Ching answers your real question. And finally today, I'm going to talk about something called the I Ching override. What is that? There are times when I have posed a question to the I Ching or asked the I Ching sort of in general about my day, because I don't always have a question. Sometimes I'm just looking for guidance about what I ought to pay most attention to on a given day. Throw something out there generally because something will come back of value. But on occasion, I'll get an answer, which is what I call the I Ching override, which means something of real note and impact, serious note and impact, is on the immediate horizon that I don't see, that has nothing to do with my question. And in those cases, I'll get an answer referring to that. That is what I would think of as a big cosmic heads up. Heads up, Harrison, something's coming. And I'm going to give you the greatest example of that. That house on Reagan Terrace I mentioned, that was a real thing. I really wanted that house on Reagan Terrace. I asked the question. This was many years ago. I loved that house. I wanted that house. I got the answer, hexagram 51, which is shock, with no changing lines, which is a little unusual. It means really pay attention to this. So I thought maybe I just asked the question wrong because I needed to put an offer in that night. So then I asked again like 8 hours later, and I got the exact same answer. Hexagram 51, shock, no changing lines. What does that mean? Does it mean it'll be a shock to my finances? Does it mean I got to pay attention to this now? Clearly, it wasn't mistaken, and it's usually not. I mean, I was the issue. So at the time, I was married, and I went to my wife and said, "Hey, could you ask?" And I showed her how to do it. She had consulted the I Ching a few times because we really wanted that house. And she went into her bedroom and she consulted the I Ching. She came back with a sheet of paper and said, "Here's what I got. Hexagram 51, shock, no changing lines." When you're looking at odds, those are really long odds. We're up in the tens of thousands, if not millions, that could happen. So we went to sleep that night thinking, maybe we're not supposed to put an offer on that house, and woke up the next morning, September 11th, 2001, the planes flying in to the buildings. And that was shock. That was what I call the I Ching override. That was, forget everything else, something's about to rattle the world. And I've had things of that nature happen on a few occasions where something seems to be wildly inappropriate to my question, and then I quickly found out what it was. Pretty interesting.